Mr. Dimitris Giannakopoulos, well, we call you also Mr. President. So how would you define last season in your own words?
Look, I'll tell you. I'm going to use a Greek expression and I'm going to try and translate it after that. Τα καρποφόρα δέντρα πάντα βαράνε. This tree, you're never going to get any olives out of it. So there's no reason to go hit it. A healthy tree, which is full of olives, that's the one you're going to attack. Panathinaikos is one of the monsters of European basketball. Basketball-wise, I expected something better. Life goes on. But yes, it was one of the reasons why we changed gear this year.
Topic that a lot of people enjoy, the rivalry between Olympiacos.
Olympiacos, they're rivals against us. Okay. Well, there is no rivalry in basketball. Yes, Olympiacos fans the last 10 years have learned that basketball is an orange ball and not a black and white one. You used to go to the stadium of Olympiacos 10 years ago and you used to hear offside, offside! Anyway.
Do you think that a peace between the two institutions is possible?
There is no will on the other side. There is no will.
Why do you keep doing all of this when some people can say you won at life, right? You have everything you want.
Okay, I love Panathinaikos. I'm going to start from that. Now, to be honest, why am I keeping being involved? I never said I'm going to be here forever, right? So, hi, I'm Dimitris Giannakopoulos, owner of Panathinaikos Basketball Club, biggest club in the world. We're here in Euro Insiders. I suggest you subscribe, you like, you click, because that's where you're going to find everything about basketball, all the good things.
Mr. Dimitris Giannakopoulos, well, we call you also Mr. President.
You can call me whatever you like.
So, Mr. President, owner of Panathinaikos, leader of a business empire, also a cat lover, and I like to call you also social media influencer, surprisingly.
Okay.
But it's such a big honor, that we welcome you on Euro Insiders, and thank you so much that you welcome us in your home.
It's a pleasure, we're friends.
Yes, we've been looking for this podcast for a lot, actually, because we had you a couple years ago, and since then we've been hunting for this. It's like coming back to where it started, so thank you so much.
Yeah.
First of all, Mr. President, how are you?
How am I? Have you ever heard anybody say I'm great?
When they
I've
say
heard some people.
You know some people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe they don't have so much going on in you.
Maybe. I'm fine. I'm fine. Everything could be better, but I'm great. I'm okay.
Mr. President, we had you on another project 2 years ago. We're now in your beautiful home in Sounion. What changed during these last 2 years?
Well, look, as you remember, it was a great bet to try and change Panathinaikos' mindset, the fans to be close to us again, the team to have good results. Last time we met, we were just after winning the European title. We won the championship that year as well. Next year we went to the Final Four in Abu Dhabi. Unfortunately, one game went wrong and we were not able to go to the final and beat them. This year, although we did have big expectations, I think many unfortunate events. I'll go very quickly. We had a few injuries in the beginning.
True.
Like key ones.
Matthias was a key one.
And not only in the beginning, but also in the middle of the season with Nan, the end of the season with Kostas. Kostas is the heart and is the brain at the critical moments. So we never had the possibility, the chance to see the full team not only play together, not only being prepared, to be honest first, but not even play together. So we don't know the capabilities of last year's team.
And also it started with the European Championship and Ataman came late. So I think that played a role, right, in the way the team prepared,
Yeah.
right?
No, it was the national. If I remember, there were the national teams. There was the tournament we had in Australia. It was a bit of everything that we started late. But I don't think that played a big role. I mean, we got super players. I don't think that this plays such a role. They're ready all the time.
So how would you define last season in your own words? Because it's not, we cannot call it a failure or a success. Like, how would you define it?
Look, actually, I don't think it's a failure. I think it's a success because first we have the best stadium in Europe. Having a stadium, Panathinaikos never had a stadium owned by itself, by the club. So now we were able to invest tens of millions in this arena. I think that all around the world, whoever has seen it has been really astonished. So having a home for the first time. I think it's really, really, really a big success. Having families, having people coming in, having season tickets sold in seconds, having the whole of Greece calling and asking for a ticket. I mean, you're probably doing something right. Now, but basketball itself is the most important part. Basketball-wise, I expected something better. But I told you, we had some hiccups on the road, and the results were the ones that came in. Actually, with Valencia, I think that...
Crazy series I've ever seen.
Well, I wouldn't say crazy. I'd use a worse word, but we're on camera. I'm not going to
you can say it. This is like, you can
no,
say whatever.
No, you never know, because probably I'm going to have to go back to court here if I...
We don't want that.
No, we don't want.
No more fines.
There's people around waiting for me to breathe wrong in order for me to send me to court and get fined. So, of course, I would like to see Panathinaikos in the Final Four, especially being in our stadium. Of course, I would like to see that. That didn't happen. Life goes on. But yes, it was one of the reasons why we changed gear this year.
You changed it big time, and I would like to ask you about last year's team. You mentioned all the big players you have. I mean, you have been great in signing very, very big signings that are also difficult to get. And I would like to know, isn't it sometimes too dangerous to have so many superstars in the same team?
That depends on the coach you have. If you allow me, I'm going to use a few examples. And I'm going to use coaches of the top level. Ivkovic, he's passed away. One of the greatest coaches ever. But he was not a coach who could coach a team full of stars. He could take youngsters and take them to the top. That was his talent. Then you got other coaches like Ergin Ataman, Željko Obradović. Okay, Željko can do anything, but I mean, these two coaches are coaches which are, they can take the stars, a team full of stars, and get the best out of them. And you see the best basketball ever played. Penny Gershon in the past, same.
So with all this going on now, because now we move to the next one, but looking back at this past season, would you change anything that went? Or because there's a saying that says the losses teaches you more than wins ever could, right?
That's true.
So what is the main thing you learned this past season?
I think that this season was just unlucky. I don't think that it was a learning season. I don't think that this season taught us anything. Really? The only thing that I could say is, like, one of the things I didn't like this year is that there was not 100 support to our coach and team from everybody all season round. So my message is, as you said, there's wins, there's losses. When does the team need you more?
In the losses, sure.
That's when you need the support.
Yeah. And this was the opposite in Greece?
Everybody was asking me why you support Ergin so much this season, and why are you so pro Ergin. Firstly, because he's an amazing professional. He brought me the European title, and I believe that if he had the full support of everybody, maybe the results would have been different.
But that comes from, I think, you give so much to the team and to the people in the way of, I was asking myself, like you said yourself, Duško, he built a team, not with the big superstars, but he won, right? And sometimes from an outside perspective, it looks like you building a team with so many superstars, of course to win, makes sense, but to give also to the fans, to give this big signing. Like, is it also like when you sign somebody, do you think only about the win, or you think like, okay, this kid is going to see Gershon Yabusele, incredible,
Look, I don't choose the players. I think I told you this last time as well. From 2012, when I took over 2013, the only player I've ever imposed is Jason Capono back in 2013. I've never been involved in signing of any players. Of course, every year there's a budget in place, and it's absolutely in the discretion of the coach how he's going to use it.
There's this narrative that it's DPG, he does whatever he wants, he's bringing the players, he's calling the players on the phone. So he's saying this is not true, because everyone is, especially the media, everyone is saying that.
Excuse me, but I really, really, really get astonished with your question. Because why? This is the actual first time I've ever heard of this. From what I've been hearing, I mean, I'm going to say this in public. I've heard Saras saying, I haven't heard him myself. I was told by somebody I fully trust that the best team to work is Panathinaikos. He's the only president that's not involved. Never have I ever been involved. I don't know basketball. I don't know the rule. I pick and pop, pick and out, pick and roll.
Yeah.
I don't know all this. What I know is 3-pointers. That's what I like.
Yeah.
I like the 3-pointers. Alvertis, best player in the world for me ever.
Nice.
I'm saying this because we've had 2 times on our podcast the owner of Hapoel Tel Aviv, Ofer Yanai, and he
That
told
spoke
us
a lot about you, by the way, in a very good way.
I really like him.
Yes.
I really like
We
him.
like him
He's
to
a
read him
super
twice
character.
on the podcast.
He's a super character.
on the opposite, he's the one that he always wants to get on the phone with the players, meet the players.
Look, I cannot say what the real job is. Everybody has his own
Okay.
tactic. Hapoel is a new team. Everybody's getting their, how can I say, their experiences. Maybe this changes his mind in the future. Maybe not. I don't know. And only results, I think, are the ones that speak for themselves. It's what kind of what kind of image you have in the basketball world.
But also, that's one thing also we can discuss about since we're new in this world, the medias in European basketball sometimes can get very toxic, and I see surprisingly hate from the side of the team. When they start losing, everyone flips against them, right?
Look, I'll tell you. I'm going to use a Greek expression, and I'm going to try and translate it after that. Τα καρποφόρα δέντρα πάντα βαράνε. What does this mean? That this tree, you're never going to get any olives out of it. So there's no reason to go hit it. But a healthy tree, which is full of olives, that's the one you're going to attack.
I like
That
one.
explains a lot.
like
I
that
think
one.
Panathinaikos is one of the monsters of European basketball. Panathinaikos has proven under many circumstances, under huge budgets, under small budgets, under many circumstances, that we're always going to be alive and kicking.
I like this.
Mr. President, you said that you don't know much about basketball. I think something that you know a lot about is business. Again,
Okay.
from an outside perspective, humbly said. I'm curious to really understand, how are you balancing everything you're doing? How do you manage everything?
Look, once again, being fully honest, Panathinaikos does not take a lot of my time. I'm there. I told you this also the other time. Most of the businesses, I'm there. When they ask me, what's your job description? I solve problems.
I remember this.
I'm sitting on my desk expecting a call or the door to knock. Who are you? I'm problem number 769. So the key to success is having people you can trust around you, people who have knowledge on the business, but mainly are good people, good characters, and you can trust.
How do you
Because
find those?
if you get the knowledge of the issue, I don't like the word problem, especially when you know about what the issue is. As soon as you can tackle it.
Yeah.
If a monster grows under the table, you're going to have to face a bigger one. So it's how soon are you going to get informed about what's going wrong?
And how do you find these people? How do you find good people you can delegate and trust?
Look, I'll tell you. First thing is, okay, some people have not a talent, but you can see the eyes of the other person, and you can say, okay, I'm going to give him the time in order to gain experience, or I'm not going to give him the time. So if you prove to your people around you that as long as you tell me the truth, most of the mistakes, if not all, can be tackled, can be surpassed, we can sit down and discuss about it. This gives trust both ways. And trust is number one in everything. If you believe that you can solve the issues, I told you, get the information and solve it as soon as you can.
But in this world, there's 2 categories of people about the trust. There are some people that would rather not hear the truth.
I don't want to know those people.
Yeah, it's for you. It's all about the truth.
Trust and truth is when I meet somebody, and this is a true story, if it's in my personal life, it's in my friendship life, if it's a professional thing, if it's anything, I say, look, you can do anything you want to me. My stomach, trust me now, especially which I've gained kilos, it can take anything. I say, how many? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. There's 17 cigarettes in here. If you tell me there's 16, there's going to be a third world war. If you tell me anything, which is the worst thing in the world, I'm okay. Let's sit down and find the solution. When you show them that there's not going to be a third world war, when they tell you the truth, even if they've done the most stupid thing in the world, I think that's the answer. And you start building people who understand that with this person, if you tell him the truth, whatever it is, we're going to go forward. If you tell him the smallest of white lies, you're out of here.
It's the identity you try to have for everything you're touching, everything you're doing.
Exactly. Truth saves time.
This
Facts.
is very true also.
Facts. I would like to come back a bit on you more personally. You have, like you said, you have a team, you have businesses, you have so many people, and also so many people rely on you. Is this something difficult to have so much weight, knowing that you have so many people to employ, to feed, to take care of? Like, isn't this like a too big responsibility sometimes?
That's very, very important. I'll tell you a story. Back in 2010, there was a crisis in Greece, especially in my main business, back then, which was pharmaceuticals. Huge crisis, 95% drop in prices, generics coming to the market, hits from everywhere. We didn't, I don't like the word sack, we didn't dismiss anybody from our businesses. We didn't drop the salaries, whereas huge multinationals were leaving the country. Other Greek companies were slashing salaries. So, I don't know, it has to do with your inside.
But you know, making life easier for others gets harder for you, you know what I mean?
You have to prioritize. Back then, people were asking me, how come Panathinaikos went from the budget down? But what am I going to put first? The smile on the face of fans of a sport which is very important?
Yeah.
Or the well-being and the real life of people who need this work in order to go back home? And I've seen this, I'm not saying that it's a give and take, but I really believe like the 2,500 people that generally we're in a professional collaboration would die for me. Maybe it's a huge expression, I'm jumping, but they would fall on the rails for me and for all the family.
That's what I'm trying to understand, because us at our very little level, because you know we launched our company and we have some people that rely on us, and we're learning to deal with this, and it's not easy. And sometimes like you feel like there is no way out, you know, there's problems coming and sometimes you don't know how to deal with them, and it seems like the world is falling down. How do you deal in those moments? Because it cannot be always high, you cannot be always 100% always smiling. Like, how do you deal with the moments when it's hard for you?
That depends on the issue. There's time where you need to isolate, put things down, think about it, put a strategy and see how you're going to tackle it. There's other times where you have to tackle it at the same moment because you understand that it's going to grow. So I cannot give you
It depends on the person, right?
Depends on the person, depends on the issue, depends on the timing, depends on the priority you have in the different issues you have to face.
We should get a little house here in Sounion. Maybe it's gonna help.
I think this helps. Yeah.
Really. But now,
no, trust me. This is an issue solver.
because okay, let's talk about it. The table, the legendary table. But I saw you yesterday, and there's something particular about the energy here. We went to the Poseidon Temple. What's so special about this place?
Now, there's people who believe in this. There's people who don't believe in this. Look, I believe that Greece has energy poles. I mean, anyway, I'm not going to go in depth to that. There's areas in Greece like Delphi, like Sounion, like Dilos, where supposedly for others, for me definitely, the energy is different. Me, I feel it. As soon as I pass Lavrion coming down to Sounion, I see myself changing inside.
Yeah.
What's the best thing that happened to you here?
I'm not going to tell you the best because it's not for the camera. That had to do with my yesterday issue. Anyway, the best thing that's happened here. The best thing that's happened here is that 2020 I had a multiple heart attack. I went and come back 4 times. I saw the flat line, the light. I came here. I spent 3 years. Changed totally as a person, totally as a character. Saw life differently. And I think that the energy of these 10 centimeters. I mean, look at Free. Where is he?
Yeah,
he's
this is
on
true.
the chair, right? That chair there.
This is crazy that he's staying there right
It's
now.
actually crazy.
I mean, I feel like it's your twin for some reason.
He's more clever than me.
This episode is brought to you by Betsson, a dear supporter of international sports with 60 years of experience represented in over 24 countries around the world. In basketball, Betsson sponsors the Lithuanian national team, the Lithuanian National League, Aris Betsson, Peristeri Betsson, and Mykonos Betsson. In football, Betsson even supports powerhouses such as Inter Milan, Club Brugge, Racing Club, and Boca Juniors. Beyond football and basketball, Betsson is present in so many other sports, reinforcing its commitment towards the athletes, the teams, and the sports community globally. Thanks again, Betsson, for supporting this episode. Without this trusted partner, all of this wouldn't be possible. Thank you so much for bringing these incredible conversations to life. We truly appreciate you. On to the next one.
Mr. President, I want to come back to your relationships, and we spoke about Mr. Ataman, Coach Ataman, but I don't want to speak to a basketball side, but we know how important it is for you, who you bring in your circle and who you have to separate in your circle, but we also know that you had a very special relationship with Coach Ataman. How hard, how difficult was it to separate with him?
Ergin, I love, and I will always love. I think he's my delle quale character in European basketball.
Okay.
I love him so much. We have the same beliefs, the same character, the same, how can I say, psychology.
Yeah.
Psychology. He's a very, very high-oriented psychology person. And maybe I'm boasting, but I believe that about myself too. Now, trust me, all season I had lots of doubt from people believing that maybe I should have made a change earlier, blah, blah, blah. I wouldn't have made a change ever. Now, the day I had to go meet with Ergin and tell him that it was one of the most difficult moments in my basketball involvement.
Really?
Yes. Because, first of all, I see him as a friend.
And does friendship have place in a business? Because we know that it's ruthless.
At the end of the day, I took the decision which I believed
Yeah.
was the best business-wise. But on the other hand, it was a really, really, really difficult decision.
And did he understand this decision?
Imagine, I don't know.
We're best friends.
No, there's no way. There's impossible.
Imagine you have to, okay, best friends, I'm not saying that he's my best friend in the world, but imagine having to stop a relationship with somebody who you really believe that has a much less percentage in the year's result than what the public believes.
But did he, what was his reaction?
What was his reaction? Ergin got very, very close to the club. He was what's the word? He was...
Bonding?
Yeah, he bonded with the club. He bonded with the fans. He bonded with me. He bonded with everybody in the locker rooms.
Coming back to you, because we always like this more psychological discussion beyond basketball, right? Of course, basketball is important, but why do you keep doing all of this, having so much businesses left and right, Panathinaikos, when some people can say you won at life, right? You have everything you want. What keeps you pushing?
Okay, I love Panathinaikos. I'm going to start from that. I grew up in a house where the word Panathinaikos came up every 10 minutes. Business-wise, involvement-wise, I've said it in the past, I'm not going to go back on that. It wasn't something that I wanted to be involved. Back in 2012, I told you I've even gone to Nigeria to try to find a buyer. I didn't want that. My dad asked me, and he said, look, Dimitri, please don't do this to me. This is my legacy. I carried on. I danced the best I could. I think I passed the level of what was expected. Now, to be honest, why am I keeping being involved? I never said I'm going to be here forever, right?
I mean, no one can be here forever.
I've never said that I'm going to be here forever. I do feel the obligation, like I said, about the people who I work with. I have the ευθύνη, the responsibility for like 3-4 million Panathinaikos if they're going to wake up in the morning with a smile or with not a smile. So I think about them a lot. Basketball, going into the business side, is changing. Like, valuation of Panathinaikos a few years ago was in the tens. Now it's maybe $500 million.
Wow,
Damn.
$500 million.
Seriously, yeah.
Incredible.
And that's proven. So a bit of it is keeping me there. A bit of it is maybe changing my thoughts about my future involvement. But I'm definitely not going to surpass over to my kids the obligation to being in this position I was back in 2012. I hope they have health from God, the economic, the financial possibility, if they ever want to be involved. So let's say that I'm with 1.5 foot in, half foot out. We'll see.
So if I ask you right now, where do you see yourself in 2, 3, 4, 5 years with Panathinaikos? Would you be able to answer this, or right now you just don't know what the future is holding?
Let me show you. You see where Free is sitting?
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm going to put a television there,
Uh-huh.
and I'm going to be watching the games as a fan in 5 years, definitely. As a fan on that chair, the television is going to be there, and I'm going to be shouting, "You should get another center, you should get another point guard, you should get another small forward."
And no more fines for you if you say that now.
Incredible. But you think that if one day you're exiting, would you come back? Or with you, is it like when you're out, you're out?
Look, being in our family is inside for 40 years, so it's not one of the decisions you go in and out. Taking one of those decisions, I cannot see something changing.
And you mentioned that the business side of things have evolved a lot with the new landscape. There's one very hot topic that we speak a lot with a lot of people on our podcast, which is the NBA Europe. And we would like to know, what is your take on the NBA Europe?
Look, there's been so many scenarios going around of how this will happen, so I'd have a different opinion on one of the scenarios and a different on the other. I would definitely not like to see the real big, let's say, powerhouses of European basketball being split up into the same league or a different league, or split up into a different league. But I'm not going to go into depth because I don't know the issue. Not the issue, the outcome. The outcome. Business-wise, definitely NBA Europe is going to take European basketball to a next level. Unfortunately, previous management of Jordi, if I'm saying their name correctly, did not exploit anything. He was just like Julius Caesar sitting there trying to see how he can be the boss of a sport. That left the sport back very, very much. It's evolving.
Choose Bueno, like we can tell he's making efforts to unite, maybe because before there was a big break between NBA and EuroLeague, right? The
He's trying, yeah.
Yeah, he was
He's
like,
trying.
no, it's not happening. It's separated. But now he's trying to make something happen, right? And you as an owner, because you see the business side of it, and we all know that most of the clubs in Europe are losing a lot of money. And at the end of the day, like, it's a business and people have to make money out of it. So do the owners speak together for some reason, like to find ways to make this business more profitable?
As far as Mr. Bueno, his first moves look like they're on the right direction. But I think that it would be unfair to him to have a concrete position on what he's doing. He's there a few months. The only thing I want to hope him, to wish him, is that everything will go well. All the plans that he has put down will become a reality.
Did you have some conversations with the NBA?
I'm not involved in the everyday business of Panathinaikos. So I, Dimitri, have not had any conversations.
Got it.
I want to focus a little bit on topic that a lot of people enjoy in Greece, in European basketball, that we cannot escape, the rivalry between Olympiacos and
Who are they rivals against?
Panathinaikos and Olympiacos.
Olympiacos, they're rivals against us. Okay, well,
First question,
Yeah.
is there a rivalry between you and Olympiacos?
I think that the rivalry is between Olympiacos and Olympiacos.
What do you say that?
What do I mean? What do I mean is that I cannot put in the same sentence Panathinaikos and Olympiacos. We are two totally different clubs in dynamic, two totally different clubs in size, in ethics, in everything. So I believe that all this that you read around it's them against them. It's them against them. I told you before, the tree without the olives, the tree with the olives. Who are they going to try and hit? The tree with the olives, and that's Panathinaikos. Come on.
Do you think that this sometimes goes too
This
far?
rivalry comes from football. There is no rivalry in basketball. Olympiacos in football, unfortunately, has a higher, let's say, number of leagues, number of championships, blah, 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 blah. And this has gone into basketball. We're two totally different clubs. I mean,
Every time we're in Athens, in Greece, we love to ask the people about Olympiacos, about Panathinaikos. And we ask also where it comes from, and it goes all the way back from the 1930s.
yes, Olympiacos fans the last 10 years have learned that basketball is an orange ball and not a black and white one, which they started to... No, please. I mean, this is true. You used to go to the stadium of Olympiacos 10 years ago and you used to hear, offside! Anyway, so... No, this is the truth. You can ask themselves. I mean, you can ask the fans. So, I respect Olympiacos fans a lot. I respect the fans of every club. But I cannot accept that Panathinaikos and Olympiacos in basketball can be in the same kind of conversation. I think we have 44 titles, they have 21. I mean, it's double score and few for the...
But also, maybe now I'm stepping on, I don't know. We often see the players of basketball, of different sports, overstepping a line, right? Getting into fights, but we rarely see owners, right? And lately we've seen a lot of stories, of arguments between you and the Angelopoulos brothers, right? Do you think that sometimes this stuff you got going on with them is going too far?
When they throw a small stone at you, if you remember very well, you take rocks, and luckily in this area there is huge rocks. You just take one and throw it back. But it all happens. Look, δράση αντίδραση, action reaction. The reaction can never be in fault. And it's different to use the truth and different to use lies. Anyway.
And then the taxi drivers I talk to, the shop owners, one question I always ask them, and I get every type of answer. Do you think that a peace between the two institutions is possible, or it's too deep in anchored to...
I've said this thousands of times. I tried this. I tried to humorize it. Let's play a one-on-one and send the money to the orphanage. No, I produced scarves, half Panathinaikos, half Olympiacos, with "Say No to Violence" in the back. I called him. I asked him, "Would you like me to come to the stadium and bring some of these and we sit together? I'm very sorry, but our team, our fans, our organization is not ready to support something like this." It was in the news a few weeks ago. On a personal basis, I used to send champagnes to every name day, to every Christmas. When their sons, daughters, I don't know what they have, were born in the hospital, and I heard that they were taking my plants outside because they thought that I had put
microphones.
I mean, there is no will on the other side. There is no will.
Is there any scenario, let's say, if they would come back to you and like maybe apologize or don't apologize, doesn't matter?
I've said many times that I'm ready to sit on the same table.
Well, we should organize
At the
this.
time when I sat on the table once, I was physically attacked by one of the two of them.
Yeah.
Physically
When
attacked.
was that?
That was in the Minister of Sports office a few years ago. I tell you something. The number one thing in life is love. The number one thing is love. The best thing you can do to your kids is love them. Grow up in in situations where there's love around. Your parents love you, your uncles love you, your brothers love you, your sisters love you, your cousins love you. You get love. And I think that's the most... Πώς είναι η ασπίδα? It's the biggest shield in life. It's the biggest thing to give you the possibility to go forward, not having complexes, not having issues, not having anything. Being able to help your person next to you. Kids who haven't grown up with love, kids who've grown up in houses with lawyers, with brothers going against brothers, sisters against fathers, kids against the father. I'm telling you, the time is very close that you will see both of them taken to court. One's going to take the court to the other. There's rumors around, why is my name first in the newspaper and not yours? It's different. I can't say I feel sorry because it sounds very... But I sympathize with them. I sympathize with them. And many times, psychology says that you should try and wear the shoes or the hat of the other person.
Yeah.
And trying to be in their position.
You try to do this?
Of course I try to do this. And I try to understand why they have this whole Stockholm syndrome against me. I really try to understand why.
What's your relationship with the other owner of Olympiacos, Mr. Marinakis? Do you have a different relationship with him?
Look, it happened that we used to study in the same area at some point. We used to live together. We have a relationship where there's respect from one of the side to the other, but unfortunately, he's on the wrong team. He's on the wrong team. He supports the wrong team.
Now about a specific moment. It's like really nothing psychological. It's a specific moment. Not this year's final, last year's finals. In Greek finals, we see the images that were completely insane of you being at Peace and Friendship Arena and being chased by the police.
Yes.
I mean, can you guide us through what happened?
In Greece, there is big corruption in the part of refereeing and the federation, which is over the refereeing. Not luckily, coincidentally, today a big decision came out.
Prometheus.
A huge decision came out about the president of the federation. Hopefully there's going to be a change because, I mean, this is worse than Jordi. I mean, Jordi's a little cat in front of this guy.
Really?
What was
Yeah,
this
yeah,
guy?
yeah.
He was like the same president of Prometheus and the federation without being able to, right?
Yes, and there's been SMSs coming out saying that, look, on Saturday I want this referee to play that team, I want this referee to play that team, and wait and see the next few days what's coming out.
Because even us, like many months ago, we started hearing about Prometheus. And why does it take so long for the issue to come out in public?
Because you have to secure a story before. But look, I'm not very much involved in this. I'm reading
Yeah,
it,
this is
I'm
why like, we
reading-
just
I'm
discussed
reading
like
about it, right?
from an outside perspective. Like
I'm reading about it. So you have to be very careful because you cannot have allegations for people which are not correct and like take mud and throw it on people, which is it's our national sport in Greece.
And so to come back on Alex's questions, like, can you guide us through again of these last year's Greek finals? Like, why did they chase you?
Why did they chase me? Because I went to the stadium. In Greece, in the law in basketball, one of the regulations says that if there is swearing at physical people after 5 or 6 times, the match should be stopped. So this has never happened, of course, in Piraeus. I went to the referees before with the people of Olympiacos stating that, look, this is one of the regulations and we know we're not going to get the respect of the 50-50 on court, but at least this is a rule which you have to abide to. So instead of cursing at me, they decided to curse to my daughter, which is not a person involved in basketball, so they couldn't do anything about that, the referees.
oh my God.
I went to protest to the referees. At some point, nobody knows how, nobody was informed. I was evicted, if that's the correct word, from the game. And I couldn't go back in.
Guys, this was part one of the most incredible conversations we have ever had on this show. Therefore, we couldn't leave it like that. If you want to see a second part, please, right now, like and subscribe in order to not miss the second and even more incredible part of this full interview. And if you're a real basketball lover, comment DPG. Why DPG? As you all know, Dimitris Giannakopoulos. And if you have any story with him, Panathinaikos, or his family that you would like to share, we would love to know about it. We read all the comments, so make sure to drop this in the comment section. We have been able to record these incredible episodes with these legends of European basketball thanks to the beautiful Athenaeum Hotel in Athens. They have incredible rooms, incredible breakfast. They have distinctions for their food and for their beverages. Beautiful rooftop with an incredible view on Acropolis. So make sure, if you're in Athens, the Athenaeum Hotel is your place to be. We leave you now with the trailer of part 2, and trust us, you can't miss this one.
I think that what Master Zeljko has in his head is something that we were never going to see before in European basketball. In my point of view, that it's maybe the best roster ever to be
assembled.
Yeah, I mean,
Can we expect one more signing?
unfortunately, the person which I would love to have signed up until now stopped basketball. That's Milos Teodosic. And the one player which is a dream of mine and I haven't signed, I will sign next year.
It's
And
a forward.
It's a big man.
It's the best player in the world!
But you're serious when you say this?
Call Misko Raznatovic and ask.
You did this very particular gesture when you took away the banner of Bodiroga.
Since I'm gonna make you recognize your mistake, whether you like it or not, I have to understand my mistakes too and accept them.
A big word that I want to ask you about, regret. The real Dimitris Giannakopoulos, how close is he from the stuff you portray?
Another big subject of your life has been your father.
If he was in front of you today, what would you tell him?
What I would tell him is that